The following portion of Daytime Tri-Cities is sponsored by Umoja.
Well, throughout the month, we are honoring Black History Month, paying tribute to those who have led the way in our community. This morning, we are honored to have with us Chuck Carroll with the Johnson City Police Department. Great to have you.
Thank you for inviting me.
We were just reminiscing a little bit. I would say you're a retired officer with the Johnson City Police Department, but not really, because you keep kind of coming back. But you were one of the very first black police officers on the Johnson City Police Department.
Right. I was the second. The first officer was William Alexander, and he worked from 1967 to the middle 70s, and he left and went to the TVA, and then I joined the police department in 1981.
1981, and then you retired after 30-some years.
30 years.
But you've come back a couple times
out of
retirement.
Right.
Kind of keeps pulling you back?
Well, you know, it's something that gets in your blood and you can't let it go.
So take me back to those early days when you were first hired and first took on that role. What was that like, being one of the first?
It was a little different.
Yeah.
Because you know, after the integration and everything, I'd get little notes stuck in my locker or some little racist cartoons or something, but I never did pay any attention to it. And then they quit, and everybody treated me just like one of the guys.
So over those 30 years with the department, did you see a lot of change in the community? Did you see a lot of differences? Have we made progress?
Yes, we've made progress, but when I first started, people respected the police, and over the years that's kind of dwindled down a whole lot. And if one policeman does something bad, they put everybody in the same basket, when it's just like teachers. If a teacher does something bad, they blame all the teachers or any profession. But yeah, things have changed.
So it sounds like, really, no matter what, you've all come together as a police officer first and foremost, and going through the same trials and tribulations and challenges as a family. Right.
And we're all human. We make mistakes just like anybody else. We're no different than anybody else. We're human.
And what about today in our community in Johnson City?
It's, believe it or not, Johnson City's a safe place to live. We get calls all the time in our teleserve unit, people wanting to know how the crime rate is and where's a good place to live and things like that. We get calls from Oregon, California, New York, and it's a safe place. And things like Umoja, getting people together of all ethnic backgrounds and things, that's what we need more of.
More of that.
More of that.
Continuing to go in that direction. And before you became a police officer, we've got some photos of you back in your old radio days.
That's been a day or two ago.
That was it the 70s then?
It was in the 70s. Yeah, I started in 73, and then I worked at WKIN in Kingsport from 73 to 77. And from 77 to 81, I worked at WETV on the Irwin Highway.
So before you had your calling as a police officer, the airwaves were calling you.
Oh yes, and that was it was different switching over.
I bet.
It was real different.
There's a big difference in that, right?
A big difference.
Big difference. And so on this month, the month of February, we all sort of take a look. What do you think is the one thing that we can do as a community to come together, in your eyes?
Just come together. Everybody needs to, you know, put all their differences and everything aside, and let's all try to work together and make this community and this whole country a better place to live.
Couldn't agree more. Chuck, great to have you on the show. Thanks so much for joining us.
All right, thank you for having me.
Hope you'll come back and see us again.
I'll come back.
The preceding portion of Daytime Tri-Cities was sponsored by Umoja.